I didn't have much of an interest personally until I met John Waldman in middle school. He's always been into movie making, and we've been best friends for years, so obviously he's rubbed off on me a good deal. But I think it was it was always more of a watching movies thing with him for a couple years, and then he started having interest in doing stuff himself, so we got into that probably, I think it was 9th or 10th grade of high school. It started with mostly extra credit assignments. We would get some random topic, like, I think one of our first ones was we had to do like a video detailing facts about a certain animal for biology, and we chose squirrels, and it was pretty much we'd get some of the facts out of the way and then just do something ridiculous to entertain ourselves. Like, that one was the one where I had a giant 10-foot blood spray from my neck after a squirrel attacked my jugular. Personal favorite. I think probably our trailer for Violence, 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 the motion picture extravaganza event film, was a personal favorite. Because I think that was the first one we did that was just what we wanted to do, wasn't for a class or anything. So I enjoyed that the most. We kind of scripted it as we went, but we had a lot of fun with it, and we got to all act ridiculous for the entirety of it. So we were just kind of going with whatever struck us at the time, and a lot of it was just totally improv, and it just turned out really nice. Some creative editing and some just well improved scenes just worked out really well. At that point, it didn't really take much to impress us because we were just trying to be as over the top as possible, but, mission accomplished. From what I heard, all of the videos that we made for extra credit went over well with the classes because they were entertaining in one manner or another. I think a couple of the history videos were kind of iffy. Like, they all had amusing parts, but some of it was just trying to get the bare facts across. It was just kind of a deadpan delivery. So a lot of it was kind of unexciting. Like, probably the first, excepting the intro where we taped a squirrel to a skateboard and ran it off a skateboard ramp, the first half or so of Squirrels is pretty awful, because it's basically just us reading out of biology textbooks. But did what we had to. I remember there was one that I was not there for most of it, and then I was like in the last couple of scenes, and then I think there was another one that I just wasn't in at all. I think that was History Volume 2. But yeah, I really liked the zombie resurrection of Crispus Attucks after the Boston Massacre. That was entirely improv. It just came out of nowhere. But we kept it because it was comedy gold. Yeah, it's mostly just been little snippets. Like I said, even Violence, 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 the first thing that we did entirely on our own was really just a preview, and there's not really been any solid plans to actually make that a full-length film, because I think after a while that would just get too ridiculous. There's only so much violence one man can handle. It's a lot, granted, but there is a threshold. But, yeah, we always talk about going back and doing more stuff, but, we just haven't really done anything for years now. I don't think we've done anything since we got out of high school. It's been 3 years now. But, the interest is still there. I'd certainly like to do something, but, we just haven't got it together. Even planning things was usually pretty fun, because, we'd try to be as off the wall as possible. Just kind of bounce ideas off each other until they got totally out of control, and then film it. John pretty much always handled the camera. I mean, I handle a lot of the more ridiculous stuff. Obviously, we all had some part in that, but I mean, I've calmed down a bit since high school. Let's put it that way. But I mean, it's still there. There were no set roles. I mean, I later, once John's original camera kind of died on him, I don't remember the circumstances, but I had a camcorder that was more recent, so I ended up providing the camera for some of our later skits. I think in one of them, I wasn't there for it, unfortunately, but one of them we got like a prosthetic heart and had that ripped out of someone's chest, so that was pretty nice. We did squibs, just kind of like chunks flying out of people's necks for the Boston Massacre, which is sort of an offshoot of blood sprays, I suppose. And again, violence was our pioneering effort. We did a lot of things we'd never done before. In one scene, we had, I think it was Chirag sticking out of a sunroof, firing dual-wielding pistols at the car in front of him. We had muzzle flashes for that, and we had it reflected in the windshield. That came out pretty nice. I mean, a lot of our stuff was just done with ridiculous props and illogical concepts. We didn't rely a whole lot on special effects, partly because we were inexperienced, and partly because it was just easier to film ridiculous things and go with that. But, yeah, it was pretty much just blood sprays. We tried doing it on, I think our very first video, we tried editing on someone's VCR, and that ended poorly. I seem to remember we ended up refilming some of it. Most of it was thought up beforehand, but it wasn't like scripted. Like, while we were thinking up the whole movie making process, just developing the different scenes, somebody would be like, oh, this would be a good one-liner for this, and then if it wasn't that great, we'd all kind of bounce it around, fix it up, and eventually we'd come up with stuff. John had one line in particular scripted for me as Cornwallis McShoot-a-lot, which I delivered at the end of the video, but aside from that, I think that was the only one that we really had scripted ahead of time and went with. Yeah, that's one of the big gratifying moments, is thinking of witty dialogue. It's like, man, it's pretty great. But, I mean, honestly, I probably enjoyed that more than actually delivering them, because, I mean, it was certainly fun and all, but it doesn't have quite the innovation when you're delivering somebody else's line. Probably the biggest thing was the giant blood spray at the end of Squirrels, because that was really what we were working around. We were like, all right, how can we make this work? And, I mean, it was what the whole thing was leading up to, and basically the rest of it was just in anticipation of that. We intentionally, like, filmed it in order and held that off for the end so that we wouldn't just do that and be like, nope, that's it, we're just turning in a giant blood spray. But, yeah, I mean, the whole process was enjoyable. Like I said, we kind of just flew by the seat of our pants and made things up as we went along, so a lot of it was kind of unscripted. We didn't know what we were doing till 2 minutes before we did it. And violence, we went to the site of, it was just a giant construction site. The whole area around the Publix where I work at now, that building area, that whole complex, and a few houses around there were still under construction. They were just kind of hollow wooden frames. And we had like a big shootout and a bunch of different scenes there. That was really fun. That had kind of the sense of danger to it, because technically not supposed to be fooling around construction sites, but yeah, we were all intermittently worried about and looking forward to going over and doing that.